Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we are diving deep into Cassandra Clare's latest short story collection, Better in Black. Now, this thing was meant to be a huge celebration for fans, right? A total love letter, but it's ended up splitting the fandom right down the middle. So what on earth happened here?
Okay, let's start with the title itself, because it's a total deep cut for longtime fans. If you know, you know. It's pulled straight from a classic, super memorable Jace Herondale quote in City of Bones. So right out of the gate, Claire is setting this incredible nostalgic vibe. This is for the OGs. So what exactly is this book? Well, it's pure 100% fan service. I mean, that's the whole point. It actually started as a Kickstarter exclusive, but now everyone can get their hands on it. And what you're getting is 10 brand new stories, each one designed to be a reunion with a fan-favorite couple from pretty much every corner of the Shadowhunter world.
Okay, but here's where things start to get a little messy. Despite all that hype, the reaction has been super divided. And you can see it right here in this Goodreads rating, a 3.32 out of 5. Oof, that is not the glowing reception you'd expect, right? So what is going on behind that number?
And that brings us to really the biggest complaint about this book. The quality of these 10 stories is just wildly inconsistent. It's all over the place. Some of them feel like these perfect, complete little gems, and then others, well, they just feel rushed, unfinished, or like they completely missed the point.
All right, let's talk about the good stuff first. The absolute high point, the one story pretty much everyone agrees is fantastic, is the one about Will and Tessa. It's set during their honeymoon, it's got this amnesia trope going on, and fans are just calling it perfect. Emotionally satisfying, a full, complete story. This is the one that delivered.
Then you flip to the other end of the spectrum, and you get a story like Simon and Izzy's. And look, it's fun, don't get me wrong. It has all that banter we love between them. But at the end of the day, most people are calling it forgettable fluff. There's just not much substance there. It feels more like a deleted scene than its own meaningful story. And this highlights what is maybe the biggest frustration for readers. So many of these stories just feel rushed, especially the endings. You take Anna and Ariadne's story or Thomas and Alastair's, they're full of these really sweet, promising moments, but then they just stop, abruptly, right when things are getting good. It leaves their stories feeling completely unresolved.
So yeah, this collection is a total mixed bag. You've got these really powerful, emotional stories like the one for Jace and Clary. Then you have this really uncomfortable, kind of disturbing look at Sebastian and the Seelie Queen, which is definitely not a romance. And then the whole thing ends with a sneak peek of the next big series, The Wicked Powers. And honestly, a lot of people are saying that preview was the best part of the entire book.
But okay, let's move past the uneven quality for a second, because there is one story here that has absolutely lit a fire under the fandom. We're talking a massive online debate. It's a story called Bread in the Bone, and it's all about Julian Blackthorne and Emma Carstairs.
And really, this whole firestorm, this huge controversy, it all comes down to one single question about something Julian does in the story. Was it cheating, or was it espionage?
So to get what's going on, we have to break down exactly what happened. Here's the play-by-play. First, an evil, alternate reality version of Emma from the world of Thule, remember her? She shows up. Second, Julian needs to get some critical information from her, so he dances with her, and then he kisses her. And third, the real Emma sees this kiss happen, and for her, it's an absolute betrayal.
And this has readers completely, and I mean completely, split down the middle. So on one side, you have people saying, look, it was a strategic mission, right? This wasn't the real Emma. Spies have to make tough calls, and Julian's love for the actual Emma was never in doubt. But then, the other side is arguing it was a deep emotional betrayal. They're saying his intentions don't matter, it still hurt Emma deeply. They feel like using intimacy that way crosses a major line. And for a lot of fans, it tarnishes the relationship they love.
And maybe this is the whole point. The story isn't meant to be a simple, happy romance. It seems like it was written to live in those morally gray areas. It's supposed to be unsettling, you know? It's a haunting look at a terrible situation, not a fairy tale.
Okay, so with the wild inconsistency and this huge controversy swirling around, it all leads to the big question. Who should actually go out and read this book? Who is this for?
When you really lay it all out, the pros and cons, a pretty clear picture starts to emerge.
In the wins column, you've got that Will and Tessa story, which is just a masterpiece. And the Jace and Clary story adds some real depth. Plus, that Wicked Powers preview is super exciting. But the gripes column is pretty heavy. The quality is all over the map. Tons of stories feel unfinished, and that central controversy is just going to be a deal breaker for a lot of fans.
So, here's the bottom line. Is this book for you? Well, you should probably read it if you are a die-hard ride or die fan. You know, if you've read every single book and you're just craving a little more time with these couples, flaws and all. But you should probably skip it if you're a more casual reader, if you hate collections where the quality is a roller coaster, or if you're just not interested in reading about controversial relationship drama.
And that really leaves us with one final big question that goes beyond just this one book. In a series that we absolutely love, how much do the flaws matter? Is nostalgia powerful enough to make us overlook everything else? The uneven writing, the choices that split the fandom in two? It's something to think about.